Hey, Erin Chase here from $5 Dinners, and this is my Dinner Made Easy show. We normally shoot these on Wednesdays, but we are doing one on Thursday this week because yesterday I was sharing with you guys about the Grocery Budget Makeover registration being open, which I have a link on this video if you want to check that out. If you're catching the replay, slide it forward just a little bit. We will get to the actual recipe. We're going to do it right here in just a couple of minutes. It's been a busy afternoon here. We have kids here and there, and my husband's shuttling them everywhere. I just got home from the grocery store. You can see right there, I have a media segment tomorrow that I've got to get ready for tonight. So a little bit of craziness happening, but we got to make dinner, and this is a perfect quick and easy weeknight dinner. Sloppy Joe bites is what we are making. It's super fast. Once you get it into the oven, it's only 10 to 12 minutes to bake, and it's Sloppy Joe meat, and so that's super easy. This is the kind of meal that you don't have to think about, and it's a fun twist on just straight up Sloppy Joes, right? Like Sloppy Joes are great. We eat Sloppy Joes a lot, actually. I've made all kinds of variations of Sloppy Joes, but this one I think is really fun and a little bit different. It takes a couple of minutes to get ready for the oven, but then it's super easy and you can just grab them right out of the dish. So, hello, my friends who are here live. Let me know what you're having for dinner tonight, and let me know if you've made these before. These are super fun. We're going to use biscuit dough, Sloppy Joe meat, a little bit of cheese. We're going to bake those for 10 to 12 minutes. Super fast, quick dinner. This would be a good summer bake dinner as well. Like sometimes in the summer, I just want to eat something a little bit warm, even though it's really hot outside. This would be good because it doesn't take long in the oven to do. No snow here, Trisha. No snow in San Antonio. It never even, I think it's sleeted. Is that the right? Sleet, the sleet, yeah. It's sleeted. It doesn't even sleet here. Sleeted? Is sleeted a word? Can sleeted be a past tense verb? Would that be right? I don't know. I'm not a grammar person. But yeah, we got a little bit of sleet the other day, but really nothing since, and it's kind of warmed back up. And I just am feeling for my friends over on the East Coast. It's brutal. And up north, Brian's up in Minnesota. Brutally cold there as well. 'Tis the season, I suppose. All right, let me switch views here for you. This is what we're doing. I got out my mat because we are going to be working with biscuit dough. We got to roll this out, and there's the pop. I didn't even have to try to pop that. That gets me every time. The pop gets me every time. I have out my pie mat, my pastry mat here. You could do a little bit of flour on the counter if you wanted to. But what we're doing here, let's see, 1, 2, 8. What we're doing here, we're going to roll these out. We're going to nestle them into these guys, my well-used muffin tins. I have the links to both of the ones we're going to use here on the video. Jill, I used to live in Ohio, and I remember those days, and too cold for this South Texas native. All right, so really we just need to flatten these out. If you have a mat, you don't need flour. If you're doing this on the counter, you might need a little flour. So we're just going to flatten out. You can see this here. We're going to, let me see if I can position this so we can get the whole experience. You want to get it a little bit flat so you can press it in. This is the mini loaf pan, the 810 mini loaf pan. I believe it's a Wilton. I have a link for you here on the video. I need a spoon. I need to spoon a spoon. We're just going to spoon this Sloppy Joe meat, and this is fairly thick. This is like non-Sloppy Joe meat. I let quite a bit of the liquid. You can see there's really not a lot of sloppy happening here. But it's the flavor that we're after with this particular one. So just put a couple of spoonfuls in like that. Roll out the next one. With a pound of ground beef in a can. This is what I've got. I've got a pound of ground beef over here in 1 can of Sloppy Joe. If you want to make your own homemade version, I can drop a link here in the comments after the video. I do have a homemade Sloppy Joe mix that's tomato sauce based with some spices. You could do a homemade version as well. I just did the can today. See, easy peasy. You can get your kids to do this for you. And then we're going to just do a pinch full of cheese. I have mozzarella. You could do cheddar, sharp. You could do a mix of Colby Jack and Monterey Jack. Just a mild cheese, mild, simple, cheap, shredded cheese, whatever you prefer. All right, you guys are making me hungry with what you're having. Ooh, basil balsamic chicken. That's one of my faves. Love it, Karen. That's awesome. So this is Sloppy Joe bites. It's just a fun twist. It really, it takes a couple of minutes to get ready for the oven, but really it's a fairly mindless meal. 2 big scoops. And that's it. What do you think? You gonna try this sometime? Roberta, I will 100% drop the homemade Sloppy Joe link onto your comment as soon as we're done with the video. I can't pull it right now, but as soon as we're done. So that's it. That's Sloppy Joe Bites. Easy, right? Yes, Tammy, I did coat the pan. Let me run through this start to finish for you. I kind of jumped into the middle because I already had the Sloppy Joe meat made before we started because I was trying to save a little bit of time. I like to keep these videos to like 10 or 15 minutes. Cody smells the meat and he's wanting some. Cody's our dog. Cody, do you want to say hello? He's just sitting right here. Okay, let me run down the recipe real quick, and if you want to stick around and watch me make the rest, you can. I'm going to do 2 pans full. Well, I'll do 8. So 8 here and 8 here. I won't fill up this entire pan. This is the square pan. This is the brownie pan. The square, I can't talk. This is the rectangular pan over here. Sorry. This is the square pan, and I just sprayed both of them with nonstick cooking spray. And we've got the oven preheating at 350. So we're going to do 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. These biscuits thinned out like this don't take very long to cook, so we just need to make sure they get cooked through, and we want to make sure that cheese gets melted on top. So what we're doing is this is just plain regular flaky biscuit. I did not get the buttermilk. I just got the butter kind, I believe. Grab flour for your counter if you need it. We're just rolling them a little bit. You don't need to press them too. We just want to thin them out a little bit so they bake quickly in this dish like this. We're just nesting them in there. And then we'll do 2 scoops. I'm like awkwardly sitting here, sorry. We'll do 2 scoops, maybe 3 of the Sloppy Joe meat. And then some pinchfuls of cheese on top. And that's it. Bake for 350. Bake at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes until that cheese is nice and melted and the biscuit is cooked through. And that's Sloppy Joe Bites, y'all. Easy peasy, right? All right. Tammy, I just sprayed it. I think I said that. I think I answered that. Just a fun twist on Sloppy Joes. That's all. I'll do these last 2 and then I'll finish up the others after we wrap up. So in the last 7 minutes, although I did start with the ground beef browned, let's talk about how we can make this freezer friendly. If you want to get started with this, you could totally make this right here ahead of time and freeze it when you're doing like a bulk. This actually did come out of the freezer because I just did 80 pounds of ground beef from Zaycon Fresh 2 weeks ago. If you missed all that, I have a couple of videos about it here on the page. You guys, Cody really is freaking out about these Sloppy Joe Bites. So I already, some people will say, well, why would you freeze Sloppy Joe meat? It's so easy to make, right? It's so easy to brown ground beef and add a can of Sloppy Joe or do a homemade version with tomato sauce and some spices in your cabinet, right? That is easy to do. But when you're doing a big prep session where you're putting together a ton of meals, using ground beef in this case, or let's say you get a bunch of chicken, right? Whether it's on sale or you do something like Zaycon Fresh, a big bulk order, then you would put this in the freezer. So this right here would be freezer friendly. And then when it's time to make it, you just reheat it in the skillet like this. You know, simmer it down so it's fairly thick. You don't want a lot of water into this biscuit dough. So you want to let that simmer for a couple of minutes so that it's thicker, right? We want this to be thicker. So then we're rolling out the biscuit dough, and then we're putting in 2 or 3 spoonfuls of the meat, shredded cheese right on top. And then this just goes into the oven, 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. You want that cheese to melt right onto the meat, and then let it cool for a couple minutes, and then pull these out of the, oops, I gotta have the meat. Pull the bites out of the tray, let them cool for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna have this with fruit tonight. I think fruit is a good thing. We actually have some fruit that's kind of like we need to eat it today and lunch boxes tomorrow because I just don't want to have to let it go bad because that's like the worst thing ever. We spent good money on this fruit, and yeah, All right, so let me get this one ready and then we'll call this video quits and I'll finish the other one. I have here on the video the link to this recipe. I also have the link to both of these pans. I'll show you the other one. This one you can sort of see in the corner here. Cody really wants one of these. Oops, we got off track there. This is the square. This is like a brownie. You can do brownies, you can do muffins, you can do all kinds of things in this. Little mini meatloaves. You can see these are well used around here. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put 8 more in here. And I usually add a tiny bit of water into each well that I'm not using. If I'm ever doing muffins and I'm not using one of the wells, I add just a little bit of water to keep it from any of the oil or whatever might be in there from really getting caked in there. I do not want that to happen. So I'll add just a smidge of water. There's a tip for you. Angela, right on. Sometimes it just helps knowing that you have it ready to go. Something about, oh, the pop gets me every time, you guys. My adrenaline just went, wah! Cody is like, I feel like I need to show Cody to you guys. Let me see if I can get a shot of him really fast. He's like right here. Can you look? Cody. He is just right there waiting for me to drop something. And I just pulled some chicken for a media segment that I have tomorrow. So between the chicken and the meat in here right now, he is like freaking out. All right, you guys, that's this recipe. Check it out. I've got other links here on the video for you. When the video's done, you can just tap back on the video and check it out. And of course, if you want to be notified when we go live again, we do this show every week. We also have a Kitchen Hacks live show. We have a 5-minute meal show. I'm trying to help make dinner easier for you. We have all kinds of different options and ways that you can check that out. So be sure to, if you subscribe to our lives, then you'll get notified whenever we're live. So you can do that here when the video is finished. And with that, I'm going to get this other pan ready for the oven, get these in the oven so that when my kiddos get back, dinner is ready and we can enjoy our meal together. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you again soon.